Hey, welcome back. Sorry, it's been a long time since the last video. I have had a lot of work in the way, and to be honest with you, I was kind of burnt out on making videos and doing these installs because it just takes so much longer to develop, and these installs take a long time to do when you're worried about trying to get camera angles and videoing the whole thing. But on that note, I'm going to get in here and drop in a power source into the bed of this Gladiator. Mine did not come with the optional bed power, and I'm going to use an ARB wiring harness to wire directly to the battery with an aftermarket plug set up in the bed that has an on-off switch on it. But let's jump into it and show you how you can do this at home and add a safe and efficient way to add power to your bed if you need so, and then aftermarket stuff such as a solar panel wire to your battery would suffice for, say, long-term refrigerator use or powering batteries, things like that, for your electronic devices without depleting your battery in your vehicle or having your battery running all the time. So let's jump into this. So as you can see, my bed is lined from the factory, and what they did was they lined over this box where typically your bed power would be. On the other side of this, it's just a plastic cover, so what we're going to need to do is cut this thing out so that we can get this box out and then replace it with an aftermarket plug face. I'll show you that. So this is going to be the aftermarket plug that I'm going to be using. I got it off of Amazon. I'll drop a link to it in the video description. It has two different USB ports as well as your typical cigarette lighter point, and then it has a voltage meter on it and an on-off switch. So in addition, we have this wiring loom from ARB. It has the whole entire harness as well as a ARB surface mount to DC socket. It's not going to be used, so this is just kind of extra in the kit. What we do want is this heavy duty wiring harness that's going to go from the side of your bed, follow the wiring harness all the way to the engine bay, and then directly connect into your battery. Now there's instructions on the wiring on the back of this little kit right here, but it's pretty straightforward. What we need is basically main power source going into this, and then from the power switch jumping to each individual positive and negative. So I've cut this around the edges, and I'm peeling up this factory bed liner off the plastic facing. So it looks like they put an additional panel over the top of this to be able to do exactly that, because this is like a cover for the cover. Alright, so there's your plastic cover. It covers your electrical component option for the bed if you didn't have it as a factory option. So it just has these little levers that you press and it'll pop right out. And then we're going to just trim off the rest of this bed liner right here, and then go to the wiring. The next step is basically we're going to cut from these four little mounting spots. You know, essentially you would put a nut cert in there, squish it in, and it would use this basically for the factory mounting of the factory plug. We don't have the factory plug, so what we're going to do is cut out from square to square, and this is wider than that by far. So I'm going to end up nut certing this electrical face panel to the side, and that'll be a real clean fit that you can remove, and then you don't have to worry about accessing any bolts or nuts on the back side of this in between the inside and outside of the bed underneath the truck. So I've got this wired up, and the white is my positive. It relays from the center, which this switch would then activate power going throughout all of this to include the voltage meter. There's another way that these instructions tell you can wire it, where basically there's always a voltage indicator on. I don't really need that. I don't recommend that for something to be able to constantly draw from your vehicle. So it's wired where the center is positive, and then when it's on, it'll relay to all the other plugs and or the voltage meter, and then the negative or ground side is at the bottom. So the ground negatives are all, on this one at least, little golden posts or bronze posts. And then I have it going into a waterproof quick connect, which I'll leave the link for that in the video description at the bottom. And then this way, this whole thing is disconnectable, and ultimately if I ever want to remove it and cover it back up, I can always take this faceplate or another similar faceplate and put it back on there, and you wouldn't even know that it was there. So I really like the ability to delete this eventually if I ever want to. But I think that this is going to work out really well. So our next step is going to be cutting this out and then running the electrical from the engine back to this plug. And then there's a wiring harness that goes basically right underneath this wheel well, and it goes straight forward to your engine bay. So it's super easy to zip tie along that same wiring harness and not have to worry about where you're going to run your wires. Now that this is cut out, what I need to do is run the wiring harness from the engine compartment down along the passenger side of the truck and up into this back side of this bed. It's not necessary for me to show you it. It's very self-explanatory. You just drop it down. There's going to be a wiring harness that runs along the bottom of your frame on the top of it, and you just run it right along there until you get back to this hole right here in the bed. So I'm going to drop that in and then go into the next part. Okay, it's all wired up. I put the faceplate in using the provided screws. I did plan to use some nut certs, but there is not a lot of room between the edge, the sidewall of this bed, and these corners where it actually mounts. It's kind of difficult because these circular fittings where the sockets are just really minimize the amount of room that you have between the sidewall and putting these in. So what I ended up doing was tapping it with a small bit and drilling it out, and then just using these provided screws for now. I'll see what I can do in the future about changing it out, and that's going to be up to you. I mean, this will work fine. There's nothing that's going to pull it out or anything like that. Additionally, what I wanted to do was add a weather fitting around the edge of this, so I'll probably take it back off when I get the material to be able to do that, and weather strip the edge of this. It's directly wired into the battery, so I would suggest not just running this without your vehicle going, or it being on a secondary battery or a solar system, something like that. But it is live power into your bed. It costs you roughly $100 to put it in here, and that's it. I mean, it's really not that hard. I did have to cut out the sidewall wider than those four holes, those four corners where I originally thought it would fit, and I had to make it taller and wider so that those would fit in here, because again, these circular fittings for these sockets do get in the way. But turn it on, you have a voltage meter, plug it into your USB if you want, and phone's charging. That's it. So something you can do in a couple hours, provide a nice little feature to your vehicle that if you didn't get it factory, and you know, go from there. So hope you enjoyed, hope you do it. It's pretty easy. Have fun with it, take your time, and drop any comments in the comment box if you need any additional guidance. And if you're looking for what I use, there will also be those parts listed from Amazon. That's where I got everything, and then you can get it yourself. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. I know it's been a long time since I posted anything. Not sure if that bothered anybody or anybody even cared. But I've done a lot of work to this Jeep, put a lot of different stuff on it. I'm going to continue to put things on it. I'm deciding whether or not I'll do videos on it all, but I'll do a walk around and show you everything that's on it coming up in the near future. I do have this trail rack on the back, and it's a nice rack. I like it, but recently I seen something that I might want to replace this with. So anybody local to Southern Arizona, if you're looking for a good rack, I'm probably going to be selling this one down the road. And it has very minimal use on it. It's pretty brand new. I was going to put a rooftop tent on it, but the game plan has kind of changed. So this is a $2,800 rack. I won't be selling it for $2,800. Something reasonable. If you're looking for a rack, let me know. Again, it's a pretty cool rack. I haven't had any issues with it. I just want to do, I think, a covered tonneau. And have this entire bed covered for my preferences and what I'm going to be doing with hunting and stuff. So thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share it, and I'll see you on the next one.